Hey, what's going on, everyone? So this is actually the second time I'm recording this. The first time I forgot to plug in the microphone. Embarrassing. Alright, so I'm answering some questions that were asked on the community wall on my YouTube channel. So we'll start with the top one from Mr. Kev. Oh! Any advice for someone who is a self-taught web developer trying to land their first job? They have a GitHub resume site with projects uploaded, continuing to work on that, actively applying, but starting to get a little bit discouraged as a lot of the postings that require a lot in terms of frameworks, libraries, etc. So this is a good question. I'm sure this happens a lot with especially self-taught web developers, but just anybody who's trying to get a job in tech or web development. Yes, the job postings are overwhelming. They have, they're like, oh, we want you to have 3 to 5 years of development experience, and it'd be nice if you knew, and then they have like 12 technologies listed on there, Angular this and blah 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 that. So some of those you definitely won't get. It's if it only takes you a second to send in your application, then heck, why not? And you never know, that might not be a must-have, but more of a like-to-have kind of list for them, and they may be struggling to find people that will apply because maybe they're looking for overqualified people in a entry-level job or what have you. So is it worth applying for those jobs? Potentially. I mean, if it only takes you a few moments to do a bunch of them, then yeah, go ahead and try it. You may not get callbacks, but if you do, then that could potentially be your next job. The most important thing, in my opinion, is to exhibit to these employers that you have the ability to learn quickly. So if they want you to know X, maybe you don't know X, but you know Y, and you're able to teach yourself it really quickly, and you have the confidence that you'll be able to learn X very quickly as well. And so maybe you only need a couple weeks on the job to get familiar with whatever that technology is that they want you to know before you can begin working on it. Now, if they want you to be proficient with it, that's a whole nother story. It might take you a little while. But if you understand like the fundamentals of JavaScript really well, then it shouldn't take you very long to pick up something like Angular, Vue, or React for the front end. If you know something like Node.js, JavaScript on the back end, then it shouldn't take you very long to pick up something like Python, PHP, Ruby, or any of the frameworks that go along with them. My advice would be, don't get discouraged. I know it's easy to, but go ahead and keep applying for these jobs. In one of my videos, I have some advice where I say go out and do meetups. So try to can't talk right now. Try to meet people in person at meetups in your local area. And then, of course, if you don't have something like that in your area, try to find online groups, Discord, Slack, IRC channels, things like that, where you can connect with people and do some networking. Of course, LinkedIn is a good place to do that as well. Okay, so the next question, advice for a college computer science student on how to balance schoolwork with side projects, what to focus on more, maintaining your high GPA versus more time learning on your own, and building projects. So both are important. Obviously, if you're paying for college, you want to prioritize college, but you also want to stay interested in doing cool projects. So carve out a little bit of time each week to work on your personal projects, keep you interested, because I know sometimes college can get kind of mundane and boring, depending on which class you're in. And also don't forget to balance that with life stuff. So take time to treat yourself and hang out with your friends and family, socialize, get outside, stuff like that. Next one, when are you going to integrate React into Campgrounds app instead of template engines like EJS? The short answer is never. I don't usually work with React, and I know I have a bunch of refactor tutorials for Colt's Yelp Camp application, but there's a reason that we don't have React in that course yet. And there's a reason why in Colt's Advanced course, they tried to integrate React in, at least judging by the reviews. I haven't taken that course. It's not doing very well. React is huge, and in order to do it and do it right, you have to really take the time and build out an entire course. It could fill up another whole 30+ hour course that would just be for React. And that would probably just be the fundamentals and, I don't know, maybe diving into some things like Redux and whatnot. Circling back to answer your question, I won't be doing that. If you want something like that, my suggestion would be learn React from the documentation. They have great documentation, and then supplement with stuff on YouTube. Or if you truly want a course, there's plenty of them out there already that are highly rated from great instructors. Don't wait for Colt. If you do, you might be waiting for a long time. Definitely don't wait for me, because if I do a front-end framework, it's probably going to be Vue.js, not React. Not because I don't like React, I do like React, but I think from a teaching perspective and also a hireability perspective that works together cohesively, Vue.js is probably a better choice in that regard. Okay, good question, Sherman. Next one, Christy. So I see people say, do not use the Yelp camp, not even the modified version of the Yelp camp in a portfolio. But then I also hear people say it's okay to modify a template to use as a project on a portfolio. My question is, what should and should not be used on a portfolio? Good question. Yelp camp is totally fine to put on your portfolio. Make sure that you credit the course, credit Colt, personalize it as much as you can, make it look completed and make it look nice. If you just do the out-of-the-box thing, there's a small chance that the employer may see that and be like, okay, I already saw 2 or 3 of these today, they all look the same. There's just that small chance that there's other people applying for that job who have also taken Colt's course. There's quite a few students in his course, like 500,000, so there's always that small chance that you could run into that scenario. Make sure that you complete Yelp camp as much as possible, add as many extra features as you can without it getting too ridiculous, and then personalize it. Make the theme look nice and make it look complete. As far as what should not be on your portfolio, don't take somebody else's work and try to make it your own, put your name on it and say, I built this. You built Yelp camp. You did follow along in a course, that's totally fine, but you built it. You should have written every line of code. So it is your application. It's just a project that you did from a course. Now, if you go take someone else's project, you don't build it, and you just customize some things, change some text, that is not something I would put on your portfolio. Okay, good question. So next one from On Health Santiago, what range on applications can be built on Express and what range of applications cannot? Express is good for a lot of things, but it's not the right tool for all the jobs out there. So if you have a project, you should probably do a little bit of research and find out if there are better tools to better suit that type of project or task. But if you're building a web application that has a bunch of CRUD stuff in it, create, read, update, destroy, Express is definitely one of the right tools for the job. Even if you're going to be combining that with something like a Rails application, there are plenty of applications built with Django or Rails or Laravel that also integrate Node.js and sometimes Express as well for certain tasks. So you'll learn about that stuff as you continue. But if you're doing anything web related, Express is not a bad choice. It would be my preferred choice. So huge range of stuff that can be built, especially web stuff, but also non-web stuff as well. Last question. This is kind of a bonus question. I said I would answer 5. Here's number 6. If you have time, okay, what are the top advantages and disadvantages of using GitHub Pages? Advantage, it's free. Disadvantage, you can only put one website on there. Advantage, you could put like a portfolio on there. Disadvantage, you can't put like a full back-end web application on there. So if you have something simple, static website, something you want to test but put into production, GitHub Pages is great. If you have a client side, like a static website that is for your portfolio or your resume, then GitHub Pages is great. If you have a full-blown web application that's dynamic and has a database and all that stuff, then it may not be the best choice. And of course, if you're trying to use back-end stuff, then it definitely is not the right choice because it won't work. You could connect to other APIs that are hosting your back-end stuff like Firebase, but that's a whole nother story. Are there alternatives? Yes, Netlify, Bitballoon, stuff like that. Those are all free as well. Should you use it for an application that people are going to visit frequently? Probably not. I mean, especially not if you're going to have a lot of traffic. If you're getting a lot of traffic, then you should definitely use like a full-blown web server. Okay, great questions, everyone. Thank you so much. I have a little coupon for my Code Node course. I'll put it in the description, or it's just 5050, 50 and then the word 50 at checkout, DevSprout.io for my Code Node course, half off. Right now it's available for $5. Go ahead and check it out if you want. Thanks for the support if you do. If you like this video, you have questions you want answered, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'll try and do something more often like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.